This is the only known copy on the planet. Like, there's no other ones I've ever seen. People are already telling us it's the best 13 minutes of their entire life. Readers are leaders. You get these people together, masterminding, brainstorming, sharing ideas. What'll come on the backside of it's going to be insane. It's been the best reading experience I have ever had. Hey, this is Russell. Welcome back to my vault. Today I want to share with you guys one of the coolest things I've discovered during a recent book buying mission. I was actually in Reno at the Wrestling Tournament of Champions with my son. One of the guys who I buy books from drove up to show me some of the cool stuff he had. This showed up, and I'd never seen before. It's called the 13-7 Plan for Personal Achievement by Napoleon Hill and his business partner, W. Clement Stone. He sold this to me for $5,000. Got this, and I'm really excited. I was like, what is this? It was a binder for a club that Napoleon Hill and W. Clement Stone started back in the day. I want to do this, but this is the only known copy on the planet. Like, there's no other ones I've ever seen. Everyone I've showed to, like even Napoleon Hill collectors, even the Napoleon Hill Foundation had heard of it, but this is the only one that we know that's actually still intact. So I didn't want to write on this. And so kind of a fun thing we did is recently with the Napoleon Hill Foundation, we got permissions to republish this, and we republished it as our very own journal. And we actually launched a live 1357 club that we do with our members every single morning. In fact, I've done it for the last 3 days in a row. And what we do is really cool is everybody jumps on a Zoom call. I usually kick it off, get people all excited, then everyone jumps in, and for 13 minutes, 57 seconds, they all pick their very own personal development book, and everybody reads it together, and we have a countdown clock. Start the clock, and everyone reads together for 13 minutes and 57 seconds. Then everyone jumps in for 5 minutes, they go, and they do the prompts, where they actually fill out the prompts from the book they're reading. So this is the ones that I did over the last couple of days. And then afterwards, we take everyone, we break them into breakout rooms where they'll have a chance to go and actually share their biggest ahas and takeaways they got from that day's reading. So I'm just excited because we turned the 15-7 Club, this book, into an actual thing that's happening. And I'll tell you kind of behind the scenes that why I think this has been so powerful. First thing is, in this book is teaching everybody how to actually do this correctly. The first thing he says is that the job is not to go and just read a book. He's like, pretend like the author of this personal development book literally wrote this for you. Like, you'd write them a letter, ask them a question, this was their response back. So he said, read it through that lens of you're actually having an actual conversation with the author. A lot of times we read books, they're like, oh, what am I gonna learn from this? But you're not using the framing of like, this person wrote specifically to me. And so that was really cool. Number two that I found interesting is because I'm only reading for 13 minutes and 57 seconds, it's fascinating because normally I'll read 2 or 3 chapters in a book and hopefully I remember something, but a lot of times I forget everything when it's done. By going through this process, I read for 13 minutes, 57 seconds, and I sit in the journal and I have to go through the different questions, which I'll go through in a minute. But the questions forced me to figure out specifically like what was the one thing, the one nugget that author meant for me specifically, and then how am I going to actually do it, actually integrate into my life. It's like night and day. It's been the best reading experience I have ever had. Again, I'm 3 or 4 days into this, doing this with the community, and every single day I've had like a breakthrough, an aha that was like tangible, that was specific, that was amazing. Now I'm going to walk you guys through what the 4 questions that Napoleon Hill has you actually do at the end of each reading session. So the first, he calls this the R2A2 formula. Like any formula, this is made up of individual parts. So let's analyze each one. So first R is recognize. So you have to recognize the principle or the idea or the technique that you learned from the reading. So number 1, you recognize, what did I learn from today? And you actually write it down. This is the thing that I learned. The number 2 is relate, which is really powerful. It says, how do you connect or join together this concept, this idea that you read about into your personal life? So how do you actually relate it, right? How do you make it like into something that makes sense for you specifically? Then number 3, which is the first A in the formula, is to assimilate. How are we going to incorporate this into my life? How am I going to simulate into my life? And the last A is action. Okay, so if you write out the formula, just so you guys have it here in front of you, the way he writes it out is the R2A2 formula. Recognize, relate, assimilate, and action. So after we finish the 13 minutes, 57 seconds, we spent 5 minutes going through and figuring that out. It slowed my reading down pretty dramatically, where I'm only reading 4 or 5 pages a day, but from that, it's giving me like a tangible thing that I can implement and I can actually use inside of my life. And so that's what the 1357 Club is. Like I said, it's something that we're excited because we just brought it back to our entrepreneurs. In fact, if you guys want to join us, you can actually get a free copy of this journal. Down a link down below, but if you go to 1357club.com, you can also go get a free copy of the journal and 2 weeks of free access to the book club, which means for 2 weeks, you can jump on with me and my team where we literally do this every single morning for 13 minutes and 57 seconds. And people are already telling us it's the best 13 minutes of their entire life because it gets you shifted and focused in the right direction at the very beginning of every single morning. When we first had the idea for this and actually putting it together, I was excited because selfishly for me, I was like, I need this habit. Like I go on times where I'm really good at reading consistently. I was like, if I do this, it's going to hold me accountable where I've got to do it every single day because I'm literally showing up live with my audience. We're doing it together. And so that was the first part, was it was going to be a habit that I was going to develop. In fact, when I promoted this to our audience, I told everyone, I said, this is the number 1 habit I'm incorporating into my life this year. Do you want to do it with me? I was trying to get everybody, like, it's all getting this habit. Like, I'm always talking about books, I'm reading books, I'm studying books, sharing with you guys books all the time. But how do you actually get those things and simulate them so you can use them in your life, right? So that was the first thing, is the habit. The second thing in here, it's kind of cool. Napoleon Hill talks about this as a way to amplify your results from the 1357 Club. He says, if you want to amplify it, he's like, get together a mastermind group where you can share your ideas and share the things you're learning. And so when I read that piece here in the binder, I was just like, okay, how do we create this mastermind group? How do we do something very unique? And if you've studied Napoleon Hill, his whole premise is like, anytime that more than two minds are brought together in a room, he says a third mind, a mastermind, will appear that's stronger than all the other ones combined, right? It's like 1 + 1 = 3. And so I was like, how do we do that inside of the book club, right? And what I found that we've been doing over the last week that's been so powerful is everybody's reading a different book. It's not like we're all reading, everyone's reading this book together. I want everyone, like, what's the book you've been wanting to read? Pick that book. And what's cool is that after everyone spends their 13 minutes and 57 seconds, then they spend their 5 minutes actually going through and journaling it. After that, we break them into these breakout rooms for 7 minutes. And so it's really cool. So for 7 minutes, everyone has a chance, and we have them share their R2. So not the A2, just the R2. They all share this part. And it's so cool because that's basically like, here's the number one thing I learned from this book today, and here's how it relates to my life, right? And so you hear 5 people in your breakout room all say that. And so what happens then is the mastermind is powerful because I read this book, right? So I have my big takeaway, but I get to hear 4 other people's takeaways and how they're going to simulate in their life. And it starts stimulating your thoughts of like, oh, I should be doing that too. Oh, I never thought about that. What was that book called? What's your name? And all of a sudden it starts building this community and this interaction. And so when we first launched the book club earlier this week, we've literally had a little over 100 people that have signed up every single day that have been on live during the process. My goal is that by the end of this year to have over 1,000 people alive every single morning. Readers are leaders. You get these people together, masterminding, brainstorming, sharing ideas. What will come on the backside of it is going to be insane. So this is, again, a new habit that I've incorporated for myself and for our community, and something that if you guys want to be part of it, I promise you something could radically transform your life. All right, so this morning, Eileen Wilder had a chance to jump on the book club for the very first time. So I sent her a picture afterwards of like everyone in the book club all holding their books. I don't know if you can see that, but that's a picture of what the book club looked like. And this is what she sent me back. And so this is kind of the power of what she experienced at her very first ever 1357 Club.
Russell Brunson, I don't understand how, number one, awesome that was. It was like everything I've ever needed in my whole life in like 13 minutes. I don't know how you launched this on vacation, and it's the best thing that I've ever experienced. Every time I think I know what you're doing, I'm like, nope, you're an enigma. An enigma, Russell. It was so great.
All right, so that's what Eileen said after experiencing her first hangout with us on 1357 Club. Now, if you guys are interested, obviously you can go to 1357club.com and get a copy of the journal. In the description, we'll have a link where you can go and download this. So you can download the prompt sheet and print it out that way if you want to. You can do it from the comfort of your own home. I would highly recommend, though, if you're able to get one of these journals. The coolest thing about this is that this has enough prompts for 1 quarter. So basically, you do 4 of these a year. If you read a book every single day for a year, you have 4 of these journals filled out, which is my goal. I have not missed a day yet. I'm planning to do every single day for the next 12 months, see how my life radically transformed by doing the 1357 Club and incorporating into my life every single day.